Hello everyone, we are back with Industry Talks with Shobita Season 2. So this season we are talking about scaling up of UPVC manufacturing business. And our first guest is the perfect role model to be followed to learn scaling up. So I welcome our first guest of this season, one of the key person behind the brand Finesta, Mr. YP Singh. So welcome YP sir to the first episode of our season 2.
Thank you, Shavita, for this welcome, and I'm delighted to share my experience with the industry. I hope it is of some use to other members in this industry.
So, without wasting any time, let's start with the questions. So, sir, please tell us something about your business model.
So, if the business model has been evolving, and we started with the model of selling into the project business, and for a couple of years we were into this uh, project model. But the cyclicity of the project was actually hampering the growth of the organization. In 2007, we conceptualized the idea of getting into retail after 5 years of being in the business. And from there, we started you can say, the foot into the retail business, which is selling one window or door to a consumer if he's interested into. Today, we have a mix of a model, which is project as well as the retail. And I would say it is 50-50 more or less working in both the platforms.
So, sir, everybody knows about the Fenesta's huge dealership network. So, how do you manage it? Everybody wants to know the secret.
I think we are not the first one to do this dealership management. There are organizations like in FMCG and many other areas where people are already working on the dealership model. The only difference here is most of the products in dealership model are box products. It means you have a standard product which you have to stock and you have to sell. So it's more of a distribution model which
Right.
in our business, windows and doors which are very customized to an aperture in a civil structure, which means everything has to be made as per the aperture size or as per the building. And therefore, we had slightly modified the dealership model only to use the expertise of network and give them a bit of information. I'll not say bit, give them training so that they understand the product, the nuances of the product, how it is to be pitched into the market, what are the pros and cons when you don't sell it right, and how it is going to impact the customer as well as you. I think that knowledge or the training is one of our key aspects. So we have a rigorous training program of our dealers and their uh, employees so that they are able to pitch rightly into the market. So we have a mix of our direct people are involved in the training part of it, and the dealers are involved into the sales part of it. That's the only role they play. After that, the execution comes back to our hands because we also believe providing a solution to a customer needs a commitment
Right.
of the product or the brand, which means we cannot go wrong anywhere to the customer, especially in the retail segment, in terms of delivery, in terms of execution, in terms of product performance. And therefore, all the products are basically controlled through a central system, whether be it extrusion, which is again our in-house, be it fabrication, which is again in-house. Sales is the only part which is outsourced through dealers. And then the installation and the audits and the post-installation, which is the serviceability. All these things are being handled and controlled by Fenestra's large team members. So we do deploy a huge number of people across the chain to maintain this quality. And that is a cost which anybody wanting to be in this as a long game has to invest. There is no shortcut to it.
Okay, so I think that's where the difference lies. Most of the fabricators break the connection once they have supplied the material to their dealer's client. Okay.
So we don't do that. It is all to be done by in-house. The
Right.
control remains with Fenesta. That's why we ensure that the quality is delivered and customer has the product performance year after year.
So, sir, what are the pros and cons of dealership model and direct sales?
It's very simple to understand. In our country, the networking plays a very vital role. Any organization trying to reach the mass, it's very difficult to go into a direct model because you'll be hiring people typically with certain numbers of experience, definitely not large experience or network into their kitty. And therefore, the dealership model comes into the picture because they are already into this segment, they are already connected with the influencers, the customers, and therefore the dealership model looks to be more viable if you have to grow over a period of time.
So, sir, you already have three manufacturing units, one at Bhiwadi, one at Hyderabad, and the third one at Chennai. And very soon you are going to have a new one. So, what is the key behind scaling up? How you do it?
Expanding for sure, and we are fortunate, and I think the response from the customer has been very positive. So as part of our business model, we are expanding our manufacturing setup also. Uh, it is actually, you can say, a catch-22 situation. Having more number of manufacturing creates the complexity of managing it, but also on the other side, it helps you supply the material at a shortest possible lead time. So when we see there is a certain volume or the threshold volume when it reaches in that territory, we are looking into expanding into those territory as well.
Wow,
So we are coming up with a new manufacturing plant in east of India.
So, what challenges did you face or you still face while scaling up?
Its challenges are routine as like a greenfield project. So I think the major challenge is, as I told you earlier, the project market has a lot of upswing and downswing. There has to be consistency of volume which is coming from that territory. Once that reaches a minimum threshold so that the plant becomes a bit of viability in that zone, that's when we start the process of expansion. Also looking at the future demand, how it is going to change, is also added into that business plan. And that's normally a business process I think everybody must be doing. The challenge of setting up a new plant remains like if you set up any greenfield project, scouting for the place and placing the orders and getting the things done on time. I think if I look at prior to 2 years, that is prior to COVID and today, the scenario has changed drastically now. The lead times have become very unpredictable. Something which we used to get in 2 to 3 months' time is now even 10 to 12 months time is not predictable. Like it may be 10 months, it may land up in 12 months. So that's something which we are struggling with, but I think that's part of our life and everybody else is also facing the same. So that would be overcome over a period of time, I hope so.
So, sir, any advice for our audience?
I have seen a couple of factories, workshops where windows are produced. I think if I talk about 10 years back, yes, this was a concept and we were all trying to experiment out, putting up a small investment and putting a small plant and trying to see to survive somehow to see whether the orders are coming in or not. I think today we need to migrate from concept of workshop to factory. It should be treated like a factory. One should invest considering that he wants to work in this industry for a long haul. Shortcuts are not going to work for a very long time. We have seen this in this industry also, and I have been talking about this earlier also, 10, 15 years back, that the moment this industry evolves, these shortcuts will go away and people have to deliver a product which is sustainable, which is long term. And therefore, I would urge all the people who are in the industry to look for a long haul thought process, long haul vision in this regard, and plan for machines which are durable and consistent. I've seen this industry has now a very shortcut equipment or machinery which can work for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. It is not going to serve you because if you do the mathematics, if you invest even 30 lakhs or 40 lakhs or 50 lakhs, and eventually you have to replace them or you have to lose on the quality in 2 years' time, it's not going to help you. It is better to start with slightly more investment, we'll go for a good quality machines which are consistent, which has serviceability, and work on the quality platform. I have been always uh, recommending this, and I'll always keep recommending this. In my career, I have seen quality pays for a long time. Shortcuts are only for short periods. You can come and go. But if you have to stay here, you'll have to invest and you have to get a good quality machines. You have to invest in good quality people. You have to create systems and processes so that your involvement is reduced and you can focus more on the growth of the business rather than fighting day to day. So that's I would say my experience which I am sharing. It is up to one to expect it, acknowledge it, or work in his day-to-day operation.
Thank you so much, YP sir, for taking out time for a little show and sharing your knowledge and experience with us today.
Thank you so much, Shavita. I'm sure this initiative which Udma and you being one of the steer members for taking this initiative across, we would be more than happy. And as I said earlier, BCM Shriram Group has been always been promoting this activity and will be doing so for the interest of the industry so that this industry grows and makes a considerable impact in the economy of the country.
So, the summary of today's session is it depends on you what business model you follow, what mix you make of direct sales and dealership model. But if you really want to reach the vast audience, you need to go for a dealership model. But if you are going for a dealership model, you must have the control of the process till the very end because it's your brand which is being represented. So even if after fabricating good windows the dealer hasn't got the windows installed properly, it's your name which is going to suffer. And thirdly, keep your team and dealer getting trained, upskilled and motivated on continuous basis. And the most important point is never compromise with the quality. If you really want to grow and be there for a long term, shortcuts won't work. So that was all for today's episode. This is Shobita Mishra signing out. See you at the next episode of Industry Talks with Shobita Season 2.